Hey there, it's Gabriela. Today, I'm excited to show you how to make learning Spanish work, even with a busy schedule. We'll put together a plan and explore how learning by doing and adapting to the language rather than sticking to traditional methods will be key to improving your conversation skills. So, are you one of those people who have been trying to learn Spanish on and off for the last decade? Feeling frustrated with your progress and still not quite reaching that fluency you're after? Trust me, I get it, it can be really tough. One of the biggest challenges I see is that we often spend so much time memorizing grammar rules and trying to think our way through Spanish that we don't actually adapt to the language itself. If you're aiming for that A2 or B1 level in Spanish, it's almost like life is happening in those little boxes. It's a bit funny, right? In a real conversation, we're not going to be like, could you please speak in A2? It's like nonsense. Some of you might think, if only I were a kid, I'd learn faster. But the truth is, kids don't exactly learn languages. They are just constantly exposed to them and naturally adapt with help from those around them. So, how we do that without moving to Guatemala to full immersion? Start by listening to real natural speech, not just learner-focused material. Why? Because kids learn by being lost and figuring it out over time. We adults tend to avoid that, wanting to understand everything from the start. Let's face it, studying Spanish through apps and books is very different from how it sounds in the real world. And that confusion is good. Think of it this way. Ever notice how parents hand kids iPads in restaurants to avoid boredom? But kids need to be bored to get creative and learn from their surroundings. Relying only in didactic speech is like giving ourselves that tablet. Embrace not knowing everything. Really. I recently read that according to the Foreign Service Institute, it can take English speakers 575 to 600 classroom hours to learn Spanish. That got me thinking, how can we make that work? That's about 1.5 hours of practice per day. No es mucho, but let's be real, we don't always have that time or dedication. No problem, let's figure out how to make it work. The average American spends at least 50 minutes a day in their car or public transportation. How can we make the most out of that time? The answer, listening. Yes. Active listening is key to improving your conversation skills. In fact, one of the biggest challenges Spanish learners face is that we often spend more time focused on grammar than actually engaging with the language. Yeah. So, what does 50 minutes of listening look like? You can split it into active and passive listening. For active listening, find a podcast on a topic you enjoy. Ideally not made for Spanish learners. This way you'll hear how people actually talk and get used to the flow and rhythm of the language. You will adapt. Spend about 50 minutes on this, but set first a goal, otherwise it's not active listening. Your goal could be to catch common phrases like puede ser, entonces, me di cuenta. This helps your brain pick up language patterns and don't stress about understanding every word. It will only frustrate you. Learning Spanish means embracing the awkward moment of I don't know everything. For passive listening, play a Spanish playlist for the remaining 25 minutes. It's just like background noise to keep the language flowing in your ears. I would avoid music like reggaeton, no hate, just harder to catch the lyrics. Try something with more straightforward articulation to help you pick up the sounds and words more easily. And guess what? Congrats! You just got 50 minutes of Spanish practice and you're not even at work yet. Alright, now we just need to cover 40 more minutes of Spanish for the day. One big issue with traditional learning is a lack of real conversation practice. You spend hours reading and writing, but those aren't crucial for speaking. If you want to get better at conversation, we've got to pay more attention on talking and listening as much as possible. Worried about the cost of tutors? No problem, there are apps. And no, I don't mean Duolingo or Rosetta Stone. They're not great for real conversations. Try something like Tandem instead. It's affordable, and since it's a language exchange app, you can chat with native Spanish speakers while helping them with your language. Trading isn't just great, it gives you the chance to interact with different accents and build real relationships. I'm pretty organized, and since I'm also learning other languages, right now it's Catalan, here's how I do it. I reach out to at least 7 different conversation partners and share my Calendly link with them. Super easy app for scheduling, I'll drop the link in the description. This way, they can book conversations at times that work for both of us. I also assign a specific day to each partner. Mondays for Ida, Tuesdays for Laura, and so on. This way, I get the conversation practice I want every day without almost any gaps. Once this system is in place, you will be getting at least 30 minutes of conversation practice daily. That leaves the last 10 minutes of your 1.5 hours to feel proud of all the Spanish exposure you've had. But if you want to do something else, read a children's book. It's a great way to get comprehensible input. As I've said before, consistency is more important than intensity. From my experience, learning a language takes serious commitment, but if you're not having fun along the way, it can feel even harder than it needs to be. So, here's my advice. Don't wait until you think you know a bunch of words to start speaking. You'll be amazed at how much sticks in your mind when you have meaningful interactions. So, thank you so much for watching. It means a lot to me, and if you give me thumbs up as usual, it will be great for my channel. And also, I know that you belong to communities. Share this video there. Nos vemos pronto. Chao, chao, chao.